Hello everybody, Miss Nancy here today, and today I'm here to talk to you about little free libraries. Some of you may already be familiar with them, some of you may not. I personally didn't know a lot about them. A little free library is basically a book box where you can take a book or share a book. In other words, borrow a book or leave a book. And they are staffed and stocked by volunteers. They are all around the world now, and their purpose basically is to increase access to books for everybody. And you can find 8 little free libraries right here in Bethel Park. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later when I talk about the program that I've organized around Bethel Park's little free libraries. But I thought that first you might want to know a little bit about the history of how little free libraries came to be. And we'll start with a book called Little Libraries, Big Heroes by Miranda Paul, illustrated by John Para. For thousands of years, people have loved stories about heroes, mythical heroes, historical heroes, and even ordinary heroes. Like this guy, Todd. Pretty ordinary, right? Here's Kid Todd pretending to be a superhero. In school, he didn't feel heroic. Even though his mother had been a teacher who loved books, reading was difficult for him. He was often scolded for asking too many questions and was told that he wasn't a good student. Todd's mom disagreed. She told him he was gifted and had something big to offer the world. You could do anything, she said. He hoped she was right. Todd studied hard, graduated from school, and got a job. At work, Todd discovered that he liked helping others. But then his mother died, and he became the one who needed help to get through sad times. He missed her terribly. Memories of his mom teaching neighborhood kids how to read gave Todd an idea. He cut up an old door and hammered the pieces together to make a tiny one-room schoolhouse. He stacked books inside, nailed a sign on the front, and placed the little library on his lawn. Now he could share his mother's love of reading with anyone who passed by. There was just one problem. Very few people passed by. One day, during a rummage sale, Todd's neighbors spotted his creation. What a neat idea! Did you build that yourself? Why did you make it? Todd told them about his mom. People loved his story. It reminded them of ordinary heroes they knew. Soon, neighbors who had never met before were gathered around, chatting like old friends. They grabbed books. They gave books. The little library became the center of their neighborhood. Todd felt his nifty box of books had potential. He called up his friend Rick, who was always chock full of grand ideas. Rick thought that they could build thousands of little boxes, like Andrew Carnegie, who once built 2,510 libraries. They could take trips, like Lutie Stearns, who brought traveling libraries all over Wisconsin. Here's a drawing of her. Wait a minute, Todd said. Andrew Carnegie had been a wealthy businessman. Lutie Stearns was a trained librarian. The two of them were just ordinary guys, and they were particularly low on cash. How many libraries could 2 ordinary guys create? How far could ordinary people spread an idea? They agreed on one thing. They wanted to find out. For months, they salvaged, designed, sawed, and painted. They learned important skills such as how to recycle a barn, how to pick out a sliver, that's a tiny piece of wood that might get stuck under your skin, and how to convince family members that sawing and painting were fun. The team lined up their finished masterpieces and waited for the crowds. You can see them all displayed here. But the crowds didn't come. Only one person bought a little library. The freshly built library sat and sat and sat. The team's spirits withered as they waited. Books are filled with great ideas, they knew, but those ideas could only spread if people actually read them. So Todd and Rick decided that if people wouldn't come get the libraries, they'd bring the libraries to the people. Out they went with 30 tiny libraries, planting them like seeds between Madison, Chicago, and Minneapolis. And just like at the rummage sale, folks gathered around. Curiosity lured readers to the little boxes. They borrowed and shared books. Friends and neighbors talked with other friends and neighbors, who talked with more friends and neighbors about the books they'd read and where they'd gotten them. It was working. The seeds of Todd and Rick's idea were beginning to grow. A radio interview spread the word about the little free libraries all around Wisconsin. Then, a national TV show featured their idea. The whole country seemed to be buzzing about the tiny, anything but ordinary libraries. Over the next year, 400 little libraries sprang up across the United States. Each library needed a caretaker called a steward. Stewards were ordinary citizens. Some were even kids. Many of them wouldn't stay ordinary, though. They became community heroes. After Hurricane Katrina devastated her hometown of New Orleans, a 6-year-old girl named Nikki collected nearly 2,000 books. She gave a box of books to every little free library in the city. Then she wrote a letter to Todd and Rick's organization asking for a little free library of her own. And she got one. Nikki tucked some of her favorite books inside, and people have been checking out stories from it ever since. In El Paso, near the US-Mexico border, reading programs were short on money. A librarian named Ms. Lopez placed the first little free library in Texas at an elementary school. With her students' help, the idea spread to more than 50 locations around the city. Soon families had more access to books in English and Spanish. In western Uganda, which is in Africa, volunteers set up a primary school and a little free library within a refugee camp. The women, men, and children who lived there had escaped great violence and had been forced to leave most of their possessions behind. Some of them learned to read from the magazines and picture books they found inside the tiny library. As the library spread around the world, more tales of ordinary heroes emerged. From within a Wisconsin prison, along a hiking trail in Canada, and in cities across Brazil, stewards placed little free libraries at a hospital in Ireland, on a street corner in Pakistan, outside a house in South Korea, and near a schoolyard in South Sudan. Today, thousands of ordinary and creative heroes are bringing millions of free books to their friends and neighbors. Today, those friends and neighbors will share them with other friends and neighbors. Today, books will be loved. Big ideas will spark. And tomorrow, who knows? Tomorrow might bring another hero story written by you and shared with the whole wide book-loving world. And that's the end. And that is the story of how little free libraries came to be. And Todd started the first little free library in Madison, Wisconsin in 2009, which is not that many years ago. But as I said, they have now spread all over the entire world. And volunteers are the people who are in charge of them. And here in Bethel Park, we have 8 little free libraries. I'll talk about those in a minute, but first I wanted to show you some pictures. This shows you what a little free library often looks like, that general shape. But some people have taken creativity to a whole new level, and I wanted to share some of those little free library designs with you. Here we have a little free library in the shape of a VW bus. I thought that one was really fun. You might recognize this guy and his trash can. We have Oscar on top of a little free library. Here, someone decided to make a robot little free library. And in England, where telephone booths look like this, someone took an old telephone booth and turned it into a little free library. It almost looks like a library because it has a big door on it. You can walk right in. These creative people took half of a boat and turned it into a little free library. And one thing I love is that they included a bench. So if you wanted to read what you chose right then, you could. And here we have a grandfather clock turned into a little free library and painted some awesome colors. And we have a tree stump little free library. And last but not least, we have an old newspaper box turned into a little free library. So instead of buying your newspaper from it, you can now borrow or share a book from it. The little free libraries we have here in Bethel Park are not quite as exciting looking as those. The books they hold could be very exciting. They tend to look something like this. And as I said, we have 8 here in Bethel Park. 3 of them are stewarded by the Bethel Park Library. And they are located at 3 spots around Bethel Park. And those spots are, I'll show you the pictures, at the Milford Drive Fire Station. You can see it in the background there. On Park Road by Shim. The library itself actually faces South Park Road, but you're not going to want to park on South Park Road. So to get to it, I would park on Park Road and then walk around to reach it. And the third one that the library is in charge of is right by the trail between the parking lot of George Washington Elementary School and the Montour Trail here. So as you walk from the parking lot to go up to the trail, there's the little free library. And this whole initiative was started with a partnership with the library, the Bethel Park School District, and WQED Pittsburgh. And that's how they came to be, but it is the library that maintains them. For the location of the other 5 little libraries, all you need to do is to go to www.littlefreelibrary.org, and you can use the map and put in 15102 for your zip code, and it will show you the locations of all of the 8 libraries in Bethel Park. There's one outside of Evie True Value Hardware. There are several in people's yards. That's one of the great things about little free libraries is you can place them almost anywhere. So because I became more aware of the little free libraries, I decided to turn it into a library program. So this upcoming March, April, and May, visit as many of those 8 Bethel Park little free libraries as you would like and have someone snap a picture of you, either giving a book or taking a book. Then email the picture to me at martinn@einetwork.net. That's martinn@einetwork.net. And for every photo I receive, I will enter a raffle ticket into a drawing. And there will be a drawing for a $25 Barnes & Noble gift card at the end of May. And you may enter up to 8 times because we have 8 different little free libraries here in Bethel Park. So please go visit, take a book, share a book, discover the little free libraries we have in the community here, and hopefully you'll win a gift card after visiting one of them. So thank you for listening today, and I hope you've learned a little more about little free libraries. Again, more information available at littlefreelibrary.org. And on YouTube, there's actually a great video about visiting the headquarters of Little Free Libraries if you're interested in learning a little bit more about how it all started. Thanks for listening, guys. See you soon. Bye-bye.